Hello and welcome to Dotto Tech. I am truly glad you're joining us today because we have a special show, and not just any special show, oh no, a special show with a capital S. Because today it is a digital photography party, and joining us, the party meister himself, Colin Smith from Adobe, and Adobe is celebrating a birthday.
That's right, Photoshop Elements version 5.
I knew him when he was such a little gaffer, maybe Photoshop Elements too, but he's come a long way. Actually, Photoshop Elements has grown to be the essential companion for digital cameras.
Yep, it's an end-to-end solution, it really is.
So what's new in version 5?
Well, one of the first things is a better way to load your photos into your computer.
Now that's an area that a lot of people do not do it properly because they plug the digital camera in, it comes up with that wizard that says, do you want to load these files into your My Pictures folder, or do you want to open Photoshop Elements? It takes so long to open Photoshop Elements and do all that. It'd be much easier to just copy them across, wouldn't it?
Well, you'll regret that in the end because you want to have the ability to find people later on, and you want to let Photoshop Elements organize things for you. If you just drop in a folder, how are you going to find that file?
Yeah, because it's such natural file names.
Yeah, like DCS001.
That was a good picture.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
But Photoshop Elements can use tags to help you find you in Alaska.
Now, I've always been a big fan of tags. We've shown it a few times in the past. It's great for ordering, but it does take a little bit of time. It takes an investment of time to tag all your photos properly. It's worth it in the long run, but it does take a while.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, but we've got a way to make it even faster. A way to recognize all the faces in your photo and add the tags to them.
How does that work?
Well, it works simply by clicking on a button right in Photoshop Elements 5 interface called Find Faces for Tagging. And when I click on
Good alliteration, too.
Yeah, it looks and finds all the faces in the images.
Now, how did it do that?
Well, it uses very sophisticated facial recognition technology. It's actually looking at a full picture, finding a face, and recognizing that face and showing it to you here.
Isn't that something? And so now I can just tag each of those photos.
That's right. You've got all of your tags here on the left-hand side, and that's Bill, so you just grab the tag, drop it on Bill, and that one disappears from the list.
So this is like a to-do list of all of the faces that I have to tag, which takes, it's got to be the bulk of tagging responsibility.
Exactly.
So, and it's very different than the other one where you have to drag multiple tags over the same face.
Right.
Are these multiple faces from the same picture?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, when I click on that picture, you can see in the bottom right where that face is.
Oh, isn't
so
that
you'll
something?
put 4 tags in this one image and maybe another one for San Francisco.
Making it easier to tag means people are going to tag, which means people are going to find the pictures when they need. Because just show us quickly how you search for them.
Well, if I want to find the places tag, I'll simply click on Vancouver, and boom.
All your photos of Vancouver. It's that fine. And how many photos do you have in your collection?
There's about 5,000 in that collection.
So it shows you how quick it is to find the photos.
Really fast.
Brilliant. Okay, what about editing?
Well, editing photos is also very important, but we want to use the power of Photoshop, the big brother, but make it as easy as we can for Photoshop Elements.
And that's an important point to understand, that the engine under Photoshop and Photoshop Elements, it's the same engine.
Really powerful, but easy to use. So let's put it to use right here. I'm going to find a photo that needs some editing, and it's this underexposed photo right here.
Now, this is a special photo to us here at Dotto Tech because Director Kim took this in Montreal, and when she took it, she said, this is for Colin.
Yeah, she wanted me to fix this one. We got 2 ways to fix this. Right at the top, if I just pop down this little menu, I can choose to go to Quick Fix or to Full Edit. And most people are going to be happy jumping into Quick Fix.
I always use Quick Fix, but here's a difference in this version. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the older version, when I chose Quick Fix, it automatically just went through and fixed it as best it could.
Yeah, and we've updated a few more things to make it more powerful, but really, really easy.
Okay.
For instance, I'm going to grab a before and after so we can see what we're doing. So there's the before on the left, the after is on the right. We've got dark shadows. So to fix this on the right-hand side, we've got a slider to lighten the shadows.
Which is one of the most common problems.
Yeah. And I'll simply move this over to the right, and you can see the result.
This is what still continues to blow me away about digital cameras, is when you got a picture that you think is too dark and the information isn't there, it's really there. We just need to modify it.
Oh, yeah. The digital cameras capture so much stuff in the dark areas, and we can pull that out with Photoshop
and look, even
Elements.
the color and the facades is there.
Yeah.
And cars in the front. You couldn't see them before.
That's right.
That's so cool.
And we can also use this to darken up the highlights. The sky is still a little bit too bright, and we can bring the contrast back like that.
Wow.
So before and after, really easy way to fix it.
Resurrected the picture.
Definitely, from nowhere.
Okay, so we finished editing. We fixed all our pictures up. We can find them all.
That's good.
What do we do with them to share them?
Well, we can share them in a number of different ways. We can make books and albums and calendars and wonderful things, but I love making slideshows. And I want to make an interesting looking slideshow. When I go to my Create menu and choose Slideshows, from here, it's going to open up in a slideshow making program within Photoshop Elements 5. All of my photographs are in here, and if I just hit play right now, it's simply going to play them full screen with a nice little dissolve between them.
I love the dissolve.
The dissolve is nice, but I want to have a bit more control. I'd like to take this photo and zoom in to a certain part of the photo. Over on the right-hand side, if I click on Enable, Pan, and Zoom, it gives me a green start rectangle and a red end rectangle. All I have to do is drag this to the size I want, which for me is over on the left-hand side like this. Now when I play this slide, push play, it zooms in exactly to the area I wanted it to.
And an important point to make here is this is really practical with today's digital cameras. 10 megapixels is not excessive for digital camera.
Yeah.
If you take it fairly high resolution in your photos, you've got more than enough information to make this stuff look great.
Zoom right in. In fact, I'd like to pan across here right now. I'll add another pan and zoom to this slide, and all I have to do at this point is grab that end point and move it over to the right.
So it's setting a new edit point in there, basically, is what it's doing?
Exactly. So now it looks like this. Zoom in to the left-hand side of the family. Don't want to leave the right-hand side out.
No, why would we?
And simply pan over to the right.
Isn't that something? That's a lot of control.
Tons of control. And you can save the slideshow and redo it later. So now if you get a picture of Grandma, you want to put her in here, you don't have to start again.
Okay, now what do we do as far as output? Now this will take several photos, put them together. I imagine I'm making a movie file of some sort.
Right. And we can also use video. It's not just stills. We can have music in here. We've got graphics, narration, and then we can output it. There's a button up in the top left-hand corner. Click to output. We can save it as a file, either as a movie file or a PDF. Burn it to disk, email it, send it to TV, or send it to Premiere Elements, which is video editing.
That's a lot of flexibility. And when you make slideshow presentations like this and you share them with people, you are a superstar. For a wedding, a birthday, for gifts, for graduations, or especially like retirement parties, some great ideas for making different slideshows. You'll just be doing it all the time. But is it the funnest thing?
No. I've got one more fun thing to show you, Steve, and that is a flip book. So I can come down here and open up a tag that I've got for a whole bunch of images that were shot with a camera one after another.
Now, a lot of cameras have the burst mode, so you can take a picture and it'll go chit, 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 and every 2 seconds or so, or 1 second, it'll take a photo, so you get a whole series,
and
which is basically stop animation, right?
Exactly, and we can create a new flip book. There it is. Each one of the images now put together in a flip book.
Oh, wow, isn't that fun?
And you can slow it down and even reverse the order of that. And when you're outputting this, you send it out as a Windows media file.
Now, can you do this for animation work as well?
Yeah, sure. As long as it's a bunch of still images, drop it in and open up Flipbook.
There we go. Colin Smith from Adobe, thank you very much for joining us. Happy birthday. Should we sing Happy Birthday?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you sing it, and I'll just...
Happy
There we go. Thanks. We'll be right back in just a few minutes with more Dotto Tech.
Want more information about the items we highlight on the show? Then make sure you drop by our website at dottotech.com. You'll find details about the products we cover, episode descriptions, and lots of cool features.